Hello and welcome to the Top 10 Business Ideas video series. So I put this video series together because I know in talking with different people that a lot of people do want to start something on their own. They're interested in that entrepreneur lifestyle. They're interested in opening up their own business, but they have no idea where to start. Or perhaps they have a lot of ideas, but they don't know what would be the best for them, what is worth investing a lot of time and money into. So in this 10-part series, I'm going to go over 10 broad business categories and then specific examples to give you some ideas of what that business might look like. In addition to the examples, I'm going to go over a list of pros and then a list of cons. So whenever I'm going through these, think of what would apply to you, what your values are, what your end goal is, what you really want to do when opening up your own business. So I hope that you find this helpful. I hope that it gives you some clarity, and please feel free to reach out. I'll put all my contact info below. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. And I hope that you are able to find your next amazing business idea. All right, enjoy. Welcome back, everybody. This is the 10th and final video in our 10-part business startup video series. I always have such a hard time saying that together. But we've reached the end, so if you've watched them all consecutively, or if you just, were able to watch some of them, I hope that they've been helpful. And the very last, but certainly not the least, business that we are going to be talking about is a nonprofit business. So what is a nonprofit business? A nonprofit business is defined as a corporation that conducts business for the good of the general public without shareholders and without a profit motive. And these are created according to state law, and they must go through the same steps as many for-profit organizations. So fees and applying for an article of organization, etc. So you have to go through the same process as for-profit organizations, and then there are additional steps as well. So some examples of nonprofits are a business that helps animals. You protect and provide services for domestic and wild animals. One in the arts and culture field, where you promote and preserve artistic and cultural excellence. Something that helps the community, and you promote economic growth and stability. One in which you help the environment, and you preserve and protect the environment. One that helps with education, and you make learning possible for students of all ages. One that helps with healthcare or human services, and you provide services for people in need. One that helps with human rights, and it's designed to promote and protect reform. International nonprofits, and they work throughout the world to promote peace and service. Also religious nonprofits that support religions and religious activity, and also research nonprofits that focus on the advancement and knowledge of various fields. So I highly recommend, if you are interested in this, check out Charity Navigator. And it's a website, and you can get tons of ideas of what is already out there. So it lists, in all the categories I just listed, it lists every nonprofit. So it lists the websites of these charities and nonprofits, and it also rates them. And it gives information about their revenue and expenses. So you can get tons of valuable information just by going on this website. So that's why I highly, highly recommend it. Now, the pros and cons are going to be different depending on how you decide to approach this business, but I'm going to go over just general pros and cons. So the first pro is that you may qualify for government or foundational grants, and this is likely how you're going to get some of your funding. You are also protected from liability for the directors and for the business. So you're protected against liability like other businesses are, like LLCs are. So that's definitely a pro. You can pay salaries to employees, so you don't have to have only volunteers. It's just that the business cannot profit. So if you are the president of that nonprofit, you're an employee of it, and you can make a salary, and then your employees can also have a salary. people will volunteer. So that's nice as well, because the idea behind a nonprofit is not to profit. It's to, try to put as much money back into your mission and your service as possible. So the more people that volunteer, the more funding can actually go into the nonprofit and can help even more people or animals, etc. And then the last, probably the most obvious one, is that you can make a huge difference in the world. I recently listened to an interview with the Make-A-Wish Foundation founder, and it was very inspiring. He was actually a policeman and, just started a little bit at a time and now has grown this 30 years later to this amazing nonprofit that helps so many children. So you don't think that you can't make a difference, because you can. So with all those pros, there are some cons, and maybe not cons, that might not be the best word, but considerations. The first one is that it can be stressful to obtain funding. You have grant applications, you have to figure out how you're going to get donations, and that can be stressful. It can be very time consuming also to look and apply for grants or to come up with different ways to get donations and funding. Also, a lot of time will be spent planning different ways to engage in the community, and you have to come up with a very strategic plan of how you're going to get that funding. Also, you have to sell the mission of your nonprofit like you would sell any product or service. Even though you're not getting a profit from it, you still have to, the community has to trust you, and they have to want to give you your money. Or if you're applying for grants, you have to tell whoever's giving you that grant why you deserve it. So if you're not really the best salesperson, it's highly recommended that you get somebody on your team who is, and then who's going to be able to go out and focus on the funding piece and the selling of the mission. The second possible con is that you must focus on educational or charitable profit, and it cannot profit those who create the organization. So you will be limited in what type of business you can open as a nonprofit. You just can't open anything that you want. And like I mentioned before, if you check out that Charity Navigator, you can get a really clear picture of what types of nonprofits are out there. The third con is that all profits remain in the organization. So if you're looking to get rich, this is not the business for you. This could also be considered a pro, depending on how you look at it, that you are working for the greater good. It depends on what you want and what your end goal is. And the final con or consideration is that you must qualify for a sales tax exemption, and you're going to need to research this and understand the process. So it's just one more thing that you need to consider on top of everything else. So to sum everything up, a nonprofit organization conducts business for the general good, not for profit. Some of the pros are that you can qualify for grants, and that you are able to have salaried employees, and you can have volunteers to help keep the money in the corporation and be able to provide more services. And of course, you can change the world. Cons are it can be stressful and time consuming to find and obtain funding. You must sell your mission, so you must either be able to sell or find somebody who can. You're limited in what you can open as a nonprofit, and as the name suggests, you yourself cannot profit. So this was video 10, the very last video in our 10-part business startup series. I hope that you were able to watch all the videos or any video that you were interested in, and that you got a little more knowledge that you can then take and continue your research, and so you're able to start your own business and start your own path. So I wish you the best, and thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and if you would like more information, please go to www.mymbse, that's mymbse.com, And if you would like to receive your free copy of the top 10 mistakes of new entrepreneurs and how to prevent them, click below for details on how to get that.